So, like I said, I was raised in a Christian home, raised by a single mother, raised in a Christian home, uh, raised Lutheran, and I didn't want anything to do with God. I hated God. I'm not sure how. I don't have any real memories of how it all began, but I blamed him for everything. I blamed him for my just everything. I was like, I know you created all this, and you're to blame for how screwed up everything is ultimately. Who created Satan? Who created the world? And look at the state of the world, and look at everything. Yeah, you're to blame. And I can't stand you. I hate you. I know you exist, and I hate you. What isn't so That's perfectly clear. What isn't so clear is what you're up to. Why all this? Why did you do all this? So my mom wanted me to go to church. She Sunday mornings. I just remember in Idaho as a teenager. What's funny is when I was a little kid, from what I understand, I brought her to faith. I loved Jesus and I loved going to church, and I would have my little bow tie. And she would put me on the bus and send me off to Sunday school. I can't remember back that far, but that's what I'm told. And at some point, at some age, though, I developed a serious hatred and dislike for him. And I think it's because of my family and coming from a severely dysfunctional family and being fatherless and just being me and her trying to survive day in and day out. But she was she was a strong Christian woman, and she's doing everything she could in her power, the best she knew how, to make sure I grew up right. But I was fighting it every step of the way, and I was really rebellious, really, really bad. So she would, I just remember Sunday mornings, it was always a fight trying to get me to go to church, and I'd eventually go. She'd drag me out of bed and make me go, but I didn't want to be there. And I grew up with this I don't give an F mentality. I don't give a fuck. Fuck the world. F God. F everything. I don't give a fuck. I wish I'd never been born. That was my attitude. That was the mantra. That was the theme I lived by as a kid. That's where I was coming from. I was depressed and really angry. I've been really angry my whole life, especially back then. Really angry, just about everything. Just I'm trapped. I'm stuck here, and I don't want to be here. I never asked to be here. I don't want to be born. I don't want to be here, but I'm here. That was my attitude, man. So just this one day, I remember after school, I was about 14 or 15, and this probably was the enemy. I got this idea to curse God, tell him how I felt. We were living in Idaho at the time, in the bean fields of Idaho, and I got this idea to go outside and curse him. And at first I was like, no, he'll kill me. And then it was like this voice was like, well, you're not supposed to lie. What's wrong with telling him how you really feel? And I just got to the point. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go outside and cuss out the Trinity. And so that's what I did. I went outside, and right next to the house, I looked straight up in the air, and with two middle fingers, just like this, straight up to the air, I I I cussed him out. I have called Jesus Christ a sand nigger. I've called him a fucking kike. I've told him to suck my dick. I mean, fuck you, fuck the Father, I mean, I just went off on him. I cussed him out. So while I'm flipping him off, I think I was looking for a reaction, just something, anything. I was so unhappy and miserable. And then afterwards, I was like, kill me. Kill me. I don't give a fuck. Kill me. And nothing happened. There's nothing going on. So I just kind of chuckled and went back inside and went on with my dysfunctional, screwed up life. coming from an alcoholic, dysfunctional family, just me and my mom trying to survive day in and day out in poverty. So nothing really happened from that day on until my senior year in high school. My whole world came crashing down. I began to lose my mind is what happened. All I can tell you is this, man. I had this opportunity with this really beautiful girl, and for some reason I ran from her and made it impossible for her to have a relationship with me, and screwed that up. It's like a triple whammy happened, and it led to repentance. It led to my first encounter, second encounter. I guess the first encounter with God really wasn't an encounter. It's three encounters I've had over the course of my life. But it was like a triple whammy. It was like 1, 2, 3. Screwed up with her. Then I started coming to school. Only I went into this deep, dark depression. Everything started to come in my mind. Started to come crashing down. And I started going to school only half days. Only for half days. And then I eventually, then I just dropped out. And I dropped out of high school. I just left it all behind, and then I became a convicted felon. I started stealing cars, and I'd always been a thief growing up. I had this real horrible, like, addiction to just stealing family, friends, everyone, anyone. But I ended up stealing cars, and I got busted for that. But before that happened, this is what happened. Real strange phenomena came through and kicked in, and this is like 30 some odd years ago, so it's hard for me to remember, so bear with me. And I never planned on doing this. There's a reason why I'll be 47 in October, and this is the first time anybody's seeing me on YouTube, because the internet's been around for decades, and I never planned on doing this. It's because of what recently happened with the discipline back in March that absolutely radically ended everything and changed everything for good, and he became the Lord of my life. But anyway, this is 30 years ago. This is when I was 18. So it's been a long process to get me to where I'm at today, man. But so this strange phenomenon kicked in to where I was terrified of the dark. I could not turn my back to a dark hallway without, being defensive and feeling like there was something that was going to literally attack me, or something dangerous about darkness. It's weird, man. I couldn't be in a dark room, and this thing got worse and worse and manifested worse and worse, and got so bad that at night I would. And my mother was watching all this. She was like, she was already dealing with her own demons in group counseling because of what she had been through as a kid. So it was kind of a chaotic household where we were both just trying to survive through the onslaught of the enemy, basically. And it got so bad that at night I would have to turn all the lights on. She would shut the door to the hallway and go in her room and go to bed, and just like, I don't know what's going on with my son. And I would sit there and I would I would sit with my back against the wall, and I could just feel it all around me. And I'm sitting there watching myself lose my mind, knowing I'm losing my mind, but can't do anything about it. And I would sit there and in sheer terror and fear at nighttime, just shaking involuntarily. It got really bad. It got really bad. And my mom's seeing this, and I just that's just how I lived for like months. As far as I can remember, I was just totally incapacitated. If it had gone on any longer and we hadn't got any help, I'd have wound up in a straitjacket. I'd have wound up in a loony bin. And I'm gonna do this in segments too, probably 10 minutes at a time, because this is a long story. It's gonna be a whole vlog to get it all out. But she saw this. She saw what was happening to her son, and she told people at her counseling group what was going on. And one of the women in the council group said, you know what? Sounds like this is spiritual warfare. You need to read a book by Charles Kraft called Defeating Dark Angels. She didn't know what else to do, so she got the book, bought it, brought it home, gave it to me, and I'm going through this torment. I'm going through this every night, and my mind's obsessed on Hitler and Satanism and demons. It was like this weird, like they actually were afflicting me, but they had me totally focused on them and everything they're about, death and destruction. I was a mess. I was just a mess. And I had no idea at that point that it was maybe demonic or anything. I just knew I was losing my mind. And I couldn't handle darkness. And some nights it got so bad I would leave the house and I would walk outside in the dead of night and go up to the plaid pantry just to get some candy bars or something. And I couldn't even stand to walk on the sidewalk because the darkness was the greatest there. I had to walk down the street under the light, and you literally feel like the darkness itself is dangerous. The darkness of the night is evil and wicked, and it's going to get you. I'm a grown man, you know. And I go up, get my stuff, come back, and all in fear, all just out of it. And so I'm reading this book and I'm identifying with things left and right, and that's when the real fear set in because I realized, holy crap, this is demonic. This is something demonic and supernatural for the first time.